Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. It should be a good one here, and it's actually going to be a rematch of a match I've cast a few times on my channel, but it's been a while since I've cast these two guys. So the map is Parasite, one of the bigger maps. It's a Protoss versus Zerg, and spawning down on the bottom right hand side of the map, it is JimRising playing for Predator Esports, to my knowledge, and his opponent spawning up in the top left hand side of the map. It is pucK. So both these guys are very good players on the North American server. pucK, a little bit more of a renowned professional 2 player, but JimRising also still a very solid, very high level ladder Zerg, and that's the reason why these two meet a lot of the time. So we'll just have to see who's going to be able to take this. It is Parasite, so we'll see how these two guys are going to play out. Now, yeah, so, I mean, JimRising, just a fairly straight-up Zerg player, will go for some timings every now and then to try and kill you off, but, I mean, it should be a good match, because both these guys, like, if you look at the North American server, as far as, like, the two most consistent players, JimRising and pucK are definitely up there as far as the top, and they've definitely played each other a lot, so it will be an interesting match to see how they're going to sort of try and take the lead. So both these players, though, to no surprise, since it is the map Parasite, it is just going to be standard expansion builds from both of them. JimRising does have the gas in the way, so not doing anything crazy like cutting speed. I feel as if that doesn't even really need to be mentioned in casts anymore. It's just even because Zergs just so rarely do it anymore, that in which they cut the gas. I mean, it's just worth it with the way the economy is these days. JimRising is rocking those cool cyber overlord skins. Well, actually no cyber drones, which is a little disappointing. Just the cyber overlords. Now, yeah, because I believe there was the cyber drones. pucK, on the other hand, no skins at all. So I don't know who's. I guess JimRising has the advantage because of these stylish-looking overlords. But as far as the builds go, no one has the advantage just yet. pucK getting that wall off if you're a Protoss player. That's a very important thing to do. Make sure you're going to be able to fully wall off. He'll throw down an extra gateway or another building, and it'll perfectly seal this off, except for this one little choke point, which he'll be able to park one of his units. But I don't think this adept will be sitting in this choke point. He's going to be moving across the map, wanting to scout out. pucK's also kept his probe back at home, so he's able to see that JimRising is still on 2 bases, a little bit later than most, or than some Zergs are, but he is now going to be moving out to expand relatively soon, and there he goes. Looks like pucK may actually lose a probe, but he doesn't. He keeps that safe. But yeah, so pucK, he's going for the sort of standard Protoss opener in Protoss versus Zerg these days. You make 2 adepts, maybe 2, 3 adepts. The first 2 move in and scout, maybe try and get a drone or 2, sometimes to a varying success. But he's also following this up. It's important to note that he did get a Stargate, and he's going for a single Phoenix behind this so far, likely just to clean up that Overlord, and then maybe go for something else. But this adept is poked in, but so far I don't believe it's gotten anything. Yeah, not even a single worker. Now this queen's doing some good damage to it. I mean, now this adept, is it going to commit to the shade? Does pucK have no choice, because it is getting chased down, and pucK's actually going to lose this adept without getting any damage done. So this is a very nice pick off for JimRising, not losing a single unit at the start of the game, deflecting the adept. And now pucK's other adept, I mean, it may as well go home. Well, he actually did keep it home. So pucK not the best start. You usually want to try and keep that adept alive, or at least get a drone or 2. Phoenix is coming back, going to be able to clean up this Overlord. pucK's starting or finishing up an Oracle. No more air units are coming out of this Stargate, as he is starting a Twilight Council. So we'll see what he's going to go for after this. There's a chance it could always be something like an Archon drop, as that does sometimes happen. Protoss players do sometimes like to go for an Archon drop right after, say a Stargate opener, but the fact that he's making 4 gateways makes me think that pucK's going to be putting on a bit of aggression now. We'll see what upgrade he starts and whether he's going to dump Chrono into it. It's actually going to be Resonating Glaives, so pucK is going to be putting on the aggression. And Resonating Glaives, they can always get something done. Okay, Oracle going to be moving out on the map for pucK. So far found no damage. In fact, JimRising has lost, well, I guess he's lost an Overlord and 2 Zerglings, but nothing major. Lings are going to get on top of these adepts. Looks like pucK will be able to clean that out, though. Get up his 3rd Nexus, so he's going to have that up, which will be nice. Protoss do like their 3rd bases. Phoenix Also just sharking around, scouting, making sure there's no crazy all-in or anything. But it looks like pucK will be the one making the first move in this game, really going for the resonating glaives. JimRising is going to have to react, but he's already making roaches, which are a pretty good defensive tool in this game. I mean, roaches are pretty tanky, particularly versus adepts, and I mean, sometimes a lot of adepts can kill roaches, but I'm not sure pucK's going to have quite that many. But Resonating Glaives still can always do lots of damage to workers, but JimRising's actually going to maybe come in with these Lings and scout this. Actually, the longer he goes without seeing this, though, the better this will be for pucK. And the fact that this is kind of just going to be a surprise for JimRising is very nice for pucK. I mean, roaches are good at defending, but they have to be in position. JimRising's starting a Spire. As pucK's coming in with all these adepts now, I mean, they do have their glaives. They can start focusing down these queens because they fire so quickly. They get a queen. They actually cancel that shade there. Now they're going to go to work, maybe pick off the Spore Crawler. Drones have to turn around there. It's not safe to go back to mining. But now the shade is going to be committing in, and pucK may actually just go right to the main base. He may actually focus down the Spire. Look at this, Adept, quite a bit of DPS. He actually cancels the Spire, so now he's not going to have to worry about a Mutalisk follow-up relatively soon, and we'll see how many workers these Adepts are going to be able to focus down. There's a lot of roaches, but some of the Adepts do get out. pucK back at home. He's starting up another Oracle. That's a good choice, I think, because, I mean, Oracles, they do deal a fair bit of damage versus pretty much anything. They just have a relatively high DPS. But now pucK does have to hold on. He does have the one Oracle, though, and it's actually banked up so much energy, which is really going to help if JimRising does counterattack. But JimRising is not counterattacking. Well, not significantly, at least. He's maybe going to go in with this bit of units, but he could overstep right now. I mean, there's Immortals, there's a decent number of Adepts. And there we go, JimRising. He wasn't committing to this, so he does go back home. He does start up another Spire. He does finish up a Hydrogen, I believe I saw. He did indeed, so JimRising, he's getting out a fair few available attacks. pucK got a bit of damage done, but it wasn't a ton, and his third base is only now just really getting saturated, so his economy's not the best. He got a bit of damage done. He delayed the Spire, which was nice, but as far as full-on damage, he didn't get too much. However, he's moving in with these Adepts. I mean, Adepts never stop being good in a game as long as they go for counter damage, because pucK, he's now wildly out of position, and these Adepts, it looks like they're just going to be able to shade into the third base. Is JimRising going to react to this in time? I mean, drones are cold, but he's definitely going to lose a few. Now these Adepts can maybe snipe a queen, dive into the natural. Roaches are reacting to this. They're on creep. They've got their speed. So pucK is just going to elect to shade on out. He's actually maybe going to split these Adepts up, cancel some of the shade there. Gonna maybe look for some more harassment, but good reaction by JimRising, splitting up his unit, so not taking too much damage. They're gonna lose a drone or two, but when there's like 12 Adepts in your base, losing just a few drones is pretty good. And JimRising, he's lost 17 this game, but he's on 4 bases. He's done a good job replacing them. And okay, this is where JimRising's gonna try and put the hurting on pucK. pucK actually did scout the Spire. Oh, look at this, the one hero Phoenix did see the Spire. And now the question is, will pucK be ready for all these mutas? I mean, he's sort of getting ready for this from the looks of it. Shield batteries at every base, very critical for defending versus Mutalisk. He's now prone to boosting out more and more Phoenix. He's going to maybe want to send this home because every Phoenix matters. But mutas, roaches, and hydras, so JimRising maybe going to try and hit a 1-2 push right now. We'll see if pucK's going to be able to hold on. He is down on supply a little bit, but he's set up pretty well defensively. He's also got another 2 Archons in a Prism, actually. That's going to help out a great deal. Now, there is some Phoenix out, which will help shut down these Mutalisk. Mutalisk's going to come on in, maybe get an Oracle. That would be nice. I mean, those are full energy Oracles. Revelation goes down, but one of the Oracles does as well. 2 Archons here will help shoo away these Mutalisks, but the 4th base for pucK actually was canceled, and I didn't even see that he started one there. But so far, it is just a few Phoenix. Archon's getting nice shots off on the Mutas, but JimRising getting some decent damage done with this attack, really keeping pucK down. pucK getting into Psystorm, though, while this attack is going on. JimRising back at home, though, churning out these Hydras. A 4-base Zerg is a Hydra-building machine, and he's also getting up that Lurker Den. So JimRising doing his best to keep the pressure on pucK, get whatever he can done. And, I mean, he's still got a pretty formidable army on the side of pucK's base. I mean, pucK's got a pretty good army at this point, but JimRising's doing a good job keeping pucK down. Yeah, I don't think JimRising can attack in, as there's going to be Psystorm soon. Phoenix, though, they're having a tough time cleaning up these mutas because JimRising's actually coupling with the Hydralisk, keeping these mutas back, and suddenly pucK can't break this. He may actually just be forced to go down because he's taking a real beating on his economy right now. Phoenix picking off a muta or two. Psystorm gonna send these roaches packing. And so now, JimRising is going back home, but look at this. This is a maxed out Protoss. He's ahead so much in supply. So look at the army right now. I mean, it's 199 supply to 130, and that's just in general. pucK's down on workers, down in army supply. JimRising is just going to have such a scary army. This could be a tough one for pucK. If JimRising makes some lurkers and goes for it, that would be pretty challenging. pucK starting up a 4th base is so important for him. He does need to get this up and keep it up. He can start chrono boosting out pros again if he so chooses. And then having High Templar, Archons, and Immortals is a pretty good composition versus what JimRising's making for now. But we'll see if JimRising does eventually get into something like Broodlords. But pucK is ready to defend this 4th base. JimRising, though, maybe looking to go for the 3rd. There is High Templar, though, which will help out. Muta's actually maybe going to try and snipe him down. Oh, good save by pucK. Actually, such sick Viper there. Picks up the High Templar, but he's now got bigger problems to worry about as JimRising is going to be pushing on in. One storm goes down there. Alrighty, so now pucK just gonna have to hold this position, but this is a pretty scary Zerg army. However, good spells can sort of equal things up. Okay, pucK, I mean, he's got a lot of High Templar here. These Hydras, if they walk forward, they're gonna get a lot of storms, but he may just be able to pick off some of the Templar, and JimRising trying to focus on 1 or 2, but doesn't get any, so good defense by pucK, and now another attack coming in towards, but they may actually run into a stasis, although there actually is an overseer, so that stasis gets shut down, but looks like pucK will be able to defend this, force this army back on both fronts so far. So good defense by pucK, and JimRising back at home. He's making 22 Hydras, I was about to say. I mean, his supply is falling, but he is just going to remax on these Hydras. Just really wanting to try and get something done. He's now coming in towards the 3rd base again, but pucK still has the superior army here. He's got High Templar, and he's actually going to surround massive Psystorms, picking off so many Hydras there. And I mean, dare I say, this could be pucK's moment if he decides to counterattack. As, yeah, look at this, warping in a ton of Zealots, getting up more cannons defensively. But I think pucK may be able to go because he really cleared JimRising's army. However, JimRising does have the lurker, sort of the ace up his sleeve, which is going to allow him just to be so defensive. There's not really a better defensive unit, dare I say, than the lurker, supported by Zerg Hydralisks. So we'll see if pucK's going to be able to break this, but he may just have to go back home, maybe just test the waters a bit and then retreat. Yeah, he may just be retreating right off the bat, seeing that there's these lurkers. He does have one observer with this army, but this is still pretty scary, and he doesn't want to get surrounded here. Phoenix lifting up some of the lurkers there, but he's now sort of forced to go in one direction here. Psystorm's covering his sort of entrance there. Now, pucK still, if he wants to push up this location, he's got to... Yeah, he really can. I mean, he's just got so many High Templar storms for days. Actually, good lifts with the Phoenix, going to pick up pretty much all these lurkers, so pucK can get this fantastic Psystorms going up. Hydra stepping forward, though. I think most of these Templars are out of energy, and pucK doesn't have that much of an army. He recalls, but these High Templar are not going to last. That's like 6 High Templar that went down there. pucK recalls. He got a trade, but I'm not sure it was enough. And no, oh no, he's accidentally right-clicking on his Nexus there. Okay, he stops it. Thank God. Actually, okay, 1 cannon got 1 extra licking. Okay. Oh. Why is he killing his zones? Maybe that cannon was in the way, trapping the Archon or something. Now, JimRising is going to be going for it. pucK does. He still has these Phoenix alive from the early game. He's going to lift this up, and I mean, we saw pucK overstep, and now JimRising is a little bit too. These guys are so eager to kill each other. Immortals, Archon still dealing a lot of damage, while the Zealots buffer. I mean, Zealots are being thinned out a little bit, but both these guys are now down on supply. JimRising is up to 6 bases, though, on his side of the map. He's getting up +3 attack. pucK's also getting up +3 attack, but there's going to be eventually Broodlords on the way for JimRising, whereas I'm not sure pucK's had the thought to even deal with Broodlords. I mean, you really need a fleet beacon or a very good engagement. He's getting Blink, which is a step, but when there's a good number of Broodlords supported by a heavy Zerg army, it's very tough to deal with. You really need the right composition. JimRising lurking about, both these guys sort of trying to find something. Zealots running by. Gonna scout the space to the north, but JimRising well defended. Looks like he's got Got some static defense at a fair few of his bases. Or really just mostly at this one. He's really locking this base down. He really cares about this one. I mean, he's got this center base, but that's a little bit more closer in, so tougher for pucK to attack. pucK gonna be going for a counterattack at the third base with a few zealots, but not gonna be finding too much. These guys are just gonna go right down, but meanwhile, that might have bought pucK time. He's gonna be moving in with his army right now. He's got some units a little bit misrallied, but he is still heading towards this one location, this one base. And now we'll see Archons and Immortals pretty good. One Psystorm weakening up a fair few of the Hydras. Where are those other units? Did they turn around? Okay, yeah, they're coming the right way now. Templar, another Psystorm going down. JimRising has been doing fantastic splits versus him so far. But I mean, Storm's still dealing a lot of damage right now. And there's another Storm. JimRising forced to retreat. I mean, he's really doing a good job minimizing the damage the Storms get done, though. I mean, Storm on 1 or 2 Hydras, that's really the most, or that's really the least you can expect as a Protoss. So JimRising not letting pucK get major pickoffs or anything. So he's really been playing well this game. pucK's still on 4 bases. He's now getting into a fleet beacon though, which is important. It will let him get Tempest. It will let him get carriers, things to counter Corruptors. Okay, but I mean, JimRising's still a 6-base Zerg. pucK's securing a 5th base though, which is important. If you want to go toe-to-toe with a macro Zerg, you need to have a lot of your own economy. And pucK starting +1 ship weapons. We'll see if he actually starts some ships, though. That's the real question. Okay, there's 2 Tempests starting now, so pucK really sniffing this out. I'm not sure he saw the Greater Spire. Or actually, where is the Greater Spire? Yeah, pucK didn't see the Greater Spire, but he is a very good player. You can sniff something like this out. And well, now he definitely actually has seen the Broodlords, so he's well aware of this. And now knows he needs to deal with this. Now, it does take a while for Broodlords to attack, so while pucK's not prepared right now, he's making Tempest, but I mean, JimRising's still going to have a very scary army. He's getting Vipers and Corruptors, so this is going to be a very tough Zerg. pucK's going to need the right army to deal with this. But, okay, we'll see. I mean, JimRising is doing a good job just not taking any harassment damage or anything like that. Now looking to get a 7th base, is already starting extractors there. He's confident he'll be mining there soon. But yeah, JimRising still just playing very solid. He's got the Broodlords. They're not the most defensive tool. And eventually he may have to attack, but pucK, I mean, the fact that JimRising hasn't attacked has given him a good bit of time, but we'll see. I mean, both these guys are going to be maxing out relatively soon, but JimRising does have the healthier bank. Now, looks like these Corruptors or this Warp Prism may have been scouted, so JimRising is going to take that out. Or actually, there we go. Maybe he was looking for it, but he finds it now. He's going to begin, oh yeah, you want to kill that off. Okay, there we go. That Warp Prism is going to die, but, alright, so now we'll see. I mean, there may be one final engagement. It's really going to come down to Hydras, Broodlords, and I guess Corruptors versus Psystorm and Tempest is really going to be the main story. Archons and Immortals, they're useful to a degree, but I mean, not the best at shooting up. Archons are pretty tanky, but pucK pushing in right now is pretty bulky. Maybe able to get some feedbacks on the Vipers, but he can't really push in versus this. He's going to have to retreat now. He's bringing in a single Tempest, but I mean, his army's really getting caught right now. And the Vipers can also abduct units too, so pucK needs to be so careful. Fair few Tempest, and I mean a lot of Tempest. pucK now going to be up at 6 of them. He's got cannons, which are going to help defend this 5th base location, but he may have a fight in the middle. Good feedbacks going down. Actually a very good Psystorm so far. Revelation going down as well. pucK sees everything. Psystorm's going down on this army of JimRising. This is absolutely huge for pucK. There's actually not that many Corruptors with this. As the Hydras, they were not fighting with this army. I mean, a Tempest is going to go down. A lot on the ground is going to go down, but JimRising doesn't have what he needs to back this up. A Zealot run by, I mean, is also going on while this goes on, but Broodlords can only push in so far. So there is some Hydras underneath guarding them now, but I mean, there's just too many Tempests here. It looks like the Corruptors are doing a fair bit of work, but the should be able to clean this up. And I mean, now there's just, oh, he's actually going to recall, try and save these. Doesn't accomplish too much there. But so far, I'm not sure who that engagement went for, but JimRising, he's still very safe this game. It's a big map. pucK really can't counterattack, and he's got 17 more Hydras on the way. He's already he's at 43 already, so JimRising gonna have a massive army. And the question is, will pucK have the AoE? He blinked forward. He's got a good Immortal count, which is very, I mean, they're good, but okay, there's some fantastic Psystorms going down on this army. That really was pucK's saving grace, because Hydras are pretty good versus this composition, except when they're eating Psystorms. So now I mean, JimRising's going to continue pushing in, but there's another storm or two in the roster right now. I mean, he's picking off a lot of high-value units. pucK not calling in another storm. I think he might not just have had enough energy. Yeah, he was like 1 or 2 points off there. But now JimRising has really burned his bank. He's investing in 25 Hydras, though, back while this is going on. I mean, Hydras, they're still pretty good as long as they don't eat a lot of AoE. I mean, pucK's got a fair few storms, but JimRising's been pretty good taking engagements. He's got a lot of bases to spare this game so far. I mean, you never want to be losing bases in StarCraft 2, but JimRising has a pretty solid economy. He can maybe afford to lose a base while he waits for a good engagement, but so far, pucK may have been able to hold on this game. Okay, Looking at this, JimRising going to the north. Actually, a Zealot and Hydra run by Meat to the top there. But now JimRising's got to deal with this attack, and this is a pretty scary Protoss army. There we go. Looks like JimRising will be losing one of his bases. A Psystorm going down. There's going to be at least 2 more where that came from. There's actually now only going to be maybe 1 more where that came from. So JimRising may be able to push this army back. There's 1 more Psystorm, but we'll see if he's able to keep pursuing this army now. Okay, and yeah, this is actually a pretty good engagement for JimRising chasing this army. He's going to be able to get a few Archons, maybe some more units, and he's actually invested in a few Zerglings, which is tying this army up. But here comes a massive Zealot support. But there is 1 more High Templar, and that's actually the main playmaker here. Fantastic storm going down by JimRising there. This army of Hydras, it was looking pretty strong, but now it's looking pretty bruised. And I think JimRising is not going to be able to push in anymore. And actually, if we look at the resources lost, well, the units lost, the resources lost, whatever you want to look at, pucK is ahead. And so, I mean, if this game does go long, I mean, there's a few bases left for JimRising still, but if this game does go very long, pucK will eventually win out by having more bases readily available. A counterattack moving in for JimRising, Hydras deal a lot of damage, are actually going to be able to clear out a lot of these cannons. Meanwhile, it looks like he did lose a fair few of his Hydras there while that was going on. I shudder to think how many of Hydras have died this game. We'll check in just a second here. Okay, looks like, I mean, it's hard to say how many Hydras have died this game because they're constantly dying. But so far we are up to 182 Hydralisk have died this game. I mean, so have 20 High Templar, but I think those 20 High Templar took a fair few Hydras with them. Now JimRising pursuing this army. Actually, getting some nice shots off there. pucK's a little bit everywhere right now. Hydras are going to be able to engage some of these Voiders as well. Going to be able to pick up a fair few of them. I mean, any air unit has value in this game, so it's nice that JimRising was able to pick that off. He picked off a lot of cannons at this base, but the base stayed alive, and I mean, it wasn't pucK's most important base, so these guys are really getting down and dirty. It's a scrappy game. pucK securing a Nexus to the north is going to help him tremendously. It's going to give him a lot more life in this game. And JimRising, he's still got the space in the bottom left, but his economy is not going to last too much longer, I don't think. I mean, he's got a fair few mineral patches, but his economy will begin dropping. He's really going to want to get up another hatchery. He's choosing to rebuild this space. He'll eventually have to take the one on the left at some point or sneak one at the north. But, I mean, as more and more bases are taken, these guys get pushed closer together. JimRising now going for a 1-2 punch from the looks of it. But when there's High Templar defending at least one of the punches, I mean, it's going to be pretty good for the Protoss. JimRising eating a lot of Psystorms there. I mean, he's going to try and push this Nexus here, but it's pretty much has no value for pucK at this point. I mean, so JimRising, I mean, looks like pucK is in a pretty good spot right now. I mean, there's carriers out as well. There's so many High Templar, and I mean, the answer for High Templar, it's really just Broodlords, maybe Swarm Hosts. But JimRising has really just been staying on the Hydras. He made the Vipers, he made the Broodlords once, and pucK managed to deal with it. So now JimRising, he's really just trying to stay alive because pucK seems to have run away with this game. I mean, pucK going for a Zealot run by. If he cancels this base, it would be huge for him, as we're seeing JimRising's economy is starting to drop. These Zealots may die for this base. Oh, and the base actually gets killed. That's a nice pick off for pucK. A cancel 9 or 10 Zealots, not necessarily worth it. A kill, definitely so, I'd say. Now, so that's a nice pick off there for pucK. JimRising, we're seeing his economy is just falling as this game goes on. I mean, he had a healthy lead, but now they're equaling up, and now he's trying to push into this base once more. There isn't any storms readily available, so if JimRising gets this base, it would be a valuable one, but pucK is respawning, and now there's going to be carriers. JimRising is going to have to retreat now. Picking off cannons, once again, the static defense for pucK has proven invaluable. Otherwise, JimRising would be getting so much more damage done. Now, looking at this, I mean, pucK may just have the army he needs in order to kill JimRising. JimRising has just been producing Hydralisk. He's made a few more Vipers, which will definitely help out, but, I mean, there's High Templars. He's going to want to abduct the carriers onto the Hydras, but Storm is definitely going to be so effective right now. JimRising maybe making his last stand right now. He's splitting up for the best visibility, but he will be losing his bottom left base, and his economy is not going to be so great. High Templar feedback, every single Viper there, and this is going to be looking pretty rough for JimRising. There's nothing really to deal with these High Templars. The Storms, carriers are going to annihilate what remains of the Zerg. GG gets called as pucK wins the game. It's just playing so much more efficient there. 20,000 more resources more efficient. JimRising was scary a lot of that game, but eventually pucK, he weathered the storm. So GG to him, very well played, but JimRising also played very well. I mean, we saw at the start of the game he was pretty flawless in his defense, in his sort of macro setup, but then eventually pucK did start to win out there when he really secured his bases. There wasn't too much JimRising could do. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this cast, feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe as well. I'm always putting out more and more of these StarCraft 2 casts, and I'm trying to break that 1,000 subscriber mark. It's getting closer every day, so if you do that, that's a big help. But otherwise, I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.